Welcome to a Community Partners interview where we explore the organization's opportunities and resources that look to make change in our daily lives. I'm your host, Sean Pickard, and you're listening to Voices for Ability Radio, all abilities, all the time. Today, I'm joined by Michelle Francis Smith, the president of the Durham Down Syndrome Association. The Durham Down Syndrome Association's mission is to continue building a supportive, inclusive community by providing social and active events for people with Down syndrome and their families. Their vision is to build a supportive and welcoming community for people with Down syndrome and their families by creating opportunities for social interaction, active participation, family networking, and resource sharing, and to build support for their members within the Durham region community by raising awareness of Down syndrome and fostering inclusive relationships with their neighbors and other community organizations. Thank you for joining us today, Michelle. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here and learn a little bit more about Durham Down Syndrome Association. But before we get going with the Durham Down Syndrome Association, let's talk about you a little bit. What is the Michelle Francis Smith experience? What inspired you to work at Durham Down Syndrome Association? Why work with individuals with disabilities?
Okay, thank you. So, yes, I am Michelle Francis Smith. I am a mother of 3 daughters, and one of my daughters, my middle daughter, Desiree, is my inspiration for getting involved in the Down syndrome community. She brought me into the world as she has Down syndrome. She's 19. And so, during my pregnancy, we learned that there was a possibility that she would have Down syndrome. And I knew a little bit. I am a medical professional as well by training. I've been a registered massage therapist for 25 years and a professor in that area. So in my work, I had met individuals with Down syndrome. I had done a little bit of experiencing through touch therapy, massage therapy. And so I had very limited, but I had some at least personal contact before finding out that Desiree was going to be born with Down syndrome. After she arrived, she's my middle daughter. So, we were a busy family, 2 daughters, running around, learning a lot, growing with both of them. And after some time, I felt that I and her needed more community. And so I started to explore in the Durham region and learned about the DDSA, the Durham Down Syndrome Association, and got involved just by volunteering, just to start. And my volunteerism was really met with so much warmth. I met so many incredible families, and Desiree was thriving. She was at this point, I think, about 12. And the past president at that time, Ema, had invited me to become a board member. Just keep in mind that everyone who works with the DDSA, we're all volunteers, so including all of the board members. So she asked if I wanted to run for a position, and I did. And I got that position, and I was in that for 4 years before then running for president and became the president this past July.
That is quite the journey and very personal with your family as well. Having that familial inspiration, that goes a long way these days. It really, really does. Now, while I was researching DDSA, I came across a number of services that you offer. Can we talk about those? What is it that DDSA does to actually help its clients?
And so we consider ourselves a community, very socially based, resource based, interpersonal based. So we have members. I'm a member as well as a board of director member, but I'm also just a member of the community. And we have services such as meetups from, not even born yet. Like we have members who join when they're pregnant and they are expecting a baby with Down syndrome to into the toddler years. We have like a small group there. Then we have, the toddlers going into school age. We have the teen group. We have the 19 plus group. We have members who are in their 50s who have Down syndrome. So it's not just them who are the members, it's also their family members. So then the parents who are in their 70s and 80s are also members of the association. So we run a number of sort of like flagship events that bring people together. So starting off at the beginning of the year, so sort of from like the January, February time, we do this family swim Everyone comes out who'd like to come out. We meet, we swim. All abilities are welcome. All of the family members, whoever would like to come, friends come. And then we always have like a meal. We fellowship together. We connect. We talk. We bond. We share strategies. We share triumphs. We share tragedy and struggles. And we connect over that. Then moving into March, March is a significant month for us because March signifies World Down Syndrome Day, which lands every year on the 21st day of March, which is significant because Down syndrome really means that you have a tripling of the 21st chromosome. So to celebrate that, March, the third month, represents the 3, and then the 21st day is the 21st chromosome. So we celebrate on March 21st every year. So we just had an amazing celebration this past March where we had, oh my gosh, we had about 150 people come out and really just wear their mismatched socks and celebrate. A little more about the mismatched socks and why that's significant in March as well is that when chromosomes are looked at under a microscope, they tend to look like little socks. And when we're looking at those 21st chromosomes, we see kind of like striations or stripes. So we have taken upon ourselves in our community internationally to celebrate World Down Syndrome Day by wearing mismatched socks, or some people will say wearing crazy socks and silly socks, whatever kind of socks you'd like to call them. And they'll have like various patterns. So we do that in March as well. And we then follow up with more events. We have a pumpkin patch that we do around, the October time. We have a picnic that we do usually in the summertime. And we've now added in more support for caregivers, recognizing that none of us do this alone. Our children are being supported by their caregivers, their community, and often the caregiver is last to think about themselves. They're often just thinking about their family member with Down syndrome. So we've now added a caregivers retreat, and we have migrated it to an overnight experience where the focus is wellness from mental health, physical health, being out in nature, eating like really rich, nourishing farm to table type food, talking, sharing, sound therapy, massage therapy, and really focusing in also on caregivers in our community. So a lot of our connecting is coming face to face when we can, being available always through different social media outlets and even WhatsApp groups. Um, coming together with resources, sharing this is what this could look like when your child is at this stage kinds of conversations, because there's so much to navigate, not only in your own household, but also through services, government services, financial services, planning for the future. So yeah, that's a little bit about a lot about what we do. We hold each other. We really create space and we hold families together and create spaces for growth and support.
And there's a few things you said there, Michelle, that really stick out with me. The first one being fellowship, right? Just having that community, the people around you that you can talk to, that understand, that are with you and holding you up and backing you up. So that fellowship aspect really, really stands out to me. But I got to say, I'm glad you got to the sock thing. You got to it before I did. I had questions. What are we talking about socks here? So
rock the socks. Yeah, that's the basis for the rock the socks. Really cool, right?
Oh, that's awesome. That is excellent. But the end there, at the end of what you were just saying, you were talking a little bit about some of the caregiver meetups and things like that you have there. Would that fall under your resources tab? Because that's where I'm going next. You got a couple of different things on your website there. What's under resources? Would we find the caregiver stuff there? What's there?
So actually, that's a great question. Right now, as we have become a new board of directors, we have added our first ever paid position. where we actually have brought in a professional to revamp our website. So, what you would be looking at is a website that has just recently been launched. And so, we're actually in the process of filling out and completing and even switching out some of our old with a lot of new. So I'm actually not sure what you're going to see right now in our resource tabs. You might not see the caregiver retreat yet, as we are going to be announcing it, and we have to do it by lottery because there's not enough spaces to fit the amount of people who want to do it. So we actually will send out an email to our community letting them know that this will be the registration period. So people will be able to register, and then we'll do a lottery and then let the final group know who will go this time around. Um, One of the other resources, again, that isn't on our website, but it's another resource, is our DDSA Cares Fund. So when we have someone in our community that we hear about, or maybe they have contacted us and maybe they're going through hardship, maybe they are in hospital with their family member who is going through some sort of medical situation. Maybe there's dual diagnosis or multiple diagnosis. We have individuals in our community who will, maybe later on have an additional diagnosis of cancer or something else that has them in hospital getting treatment. If we hear about it or we're contacted, we like to show up. So, whether it's showing up with some gifts for the member and or siblings and or the caregiver, because again, it impacts the entire family. We also, in that out of that CARES fund, we also want to provide funds for celebratory things. For example, this year we have three of our members who are members of the Special Olympics. They are athletes in the Special Olympics for rhythmic gymnastics. And these three individuals have qualified for the nationals in medicine hat in the summer. I think it's August. I might be misquoting the exact month, but it's this summer. They are representing Ontario at the nationals. And we wanted to be able to support them. It's expensive for them to travel, but also they're traveling with a support person, so it's double the cost. And while we're so proud of them and they've been working hard, it is hard on the families to make that trip. So we have, out of the care fund, decided to gift each of the families funds towards their costs. So this is another part of the resources. Um, Also, in our resources, which you wouldn't find necessarily there yet in our drop down, is at different events, we will bring in guest speakers. In May, we have our annual general meeting that we have every year. All the charities have to have them. You bring members together and you update them on your finances. You know all of this, different policies or different changes, things you might need to get a vote on. And this year, we're having our AGM at the McLaughlin Art Gallery, and we're creating an event out of it. Families can come to the art gallery. They're also going to be greeted by a couple of guest speakers, one who's going to be talking about transit and offerings that many of us didn't know, including me, that Durham region offers for individuals with disabilities, as well as someone speaking about things like RDSPs and different sort of financial things that come up as our members age, Henson trusts. What do we think about in the next phase of life as we're aging as caregivers, and our adults with Down syndrome are living longer and longer, which is so exciting, but many of them are outliving their caregivers, which was not typical many, many years ago, and definitely not what we were told as parents to be prepared for. So this is another way that we provide resourcing, because you just don't know what you don't know. And it's great to be able to look ahead, learn from other age groups, learn from other caregivers, and bring in different professionals whenever we can.
Oh, that is absolutely huge, having the extra people there to back you up. So it's awesome that you have those resources available there. And it sounds like there's a little bit for everyone, especially when we add in the services tab.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much going on at DDSA. Now, this is where things get a little tricky, shall we say, Michelle, because everyone has their own journey through life, right? They've got their own ups, their downs. Someone faces this, someone else doesn't. So knowing that everyone has their own journey through life, what would a common journey through DDSA look like for one of your community members?
Common experience. I think you actually hit the nail on the head right from the beginning when you said everyone's journey is actually likely to be different. Because with the DDSA, you're welcome, come as you are at any time. So some people are joining the community as parents who are expecting a baby with Down syndrome. So that journey looks different because the baby's actually arriving into the community right from the beginning. They're able to be a part of our, youngest group, and they're growing up with other individuals and babies. Other people have joined, in their 20s. Other people have moved from other parts of Canada to Durham region. So they're looking for their association, their local in the new area they're in. So they might already be a teenager, they might already be an adult. So the journey is almost like a choose your own adventure. However, you show up, you are welcome. And while Down syndrome is what is sort of the universal calling to bring people into the community, our community is much more diverse than only including people with Down syndrome. There's so many different ways that people show up, so many ethnicities and beliefs and religions and identities, multiple diagnoses, so many different things. And so we're always learning from one another how to be more inclusive and how to be more open to what we might not even have expected or would have been drawn to the DDSA in the past. We have members who are legally blind. We have members who also have autism. We have members, there's just so many things. Maybe they're experiencing dementia. Um, so many different range of things happening. And there's just a place for everyone.
That's so awesome to hear. A place for everyone. But instead of everyone, let's talk for a second about one Michelle. Without using any names, do not identify this person, but can you share a success story with me? What happened? What supports were put in place? Someone reaches out and asks for help. What did DDSA do?
Okay. I'm going to provide an example. Again, no names. This is an interesting one. We had someone apply to be a part of the caregivers experience for the first time that we did last summer. We launched it last summer. And this person actually was a member 10 years ago with their child who would have been 4 at the time. And they were a member. Maybe they came out to a couple of events, but they had gone silent, so they didn't sort of renew their membership. But part of applying for this experience is that you needed to be a current member. So they renewed their membership, and we're now sitting, sharing in our circle time, getting ready to start the weekend. And they offered up that, honestly, I'm really disconnected. I haven't been really a part of the community. I'm here raising my children and, working and doing our life. And I really just renewed because I felt like I needed a place to decompress and I needed some wellness for myself. And so I registered, renewed. And, my first question was, tell me what we were not maybe providing you before that, you were missing, because we kind of would think of the individual with Down syndrome as like the main reason. And their response was, I just didn't feel like we were in the right place. My family member has multiple things happening. And when I look around, I didn't see anyone else that identified in the same way as they do and our family does. So I just sort of felt like I'll just leave it for now. But then this caregiver thing spoke to me. So how this then expands into even more of an amazing transformation is this person was coming for that one thing. But during the overnight, it was just one night, we come in at 10 in the morning and we leave the next day at 3 p.m. In that period of time, they went from just coming for that to wanting to join the board of directors to seeing themselves and their family member with Down syndrome as actually being that face, being that identity that now other families could identify with. They found their place. They found their place of support. They found their place of visibility for their child. They found their voice to be able to contribute to the community. And one of the challenging things on a board of directors like ours is we struggle to get people to be on the board because often they are members of the community who are caregivers of someone with Down syndrome, and they already have so much on their plate, caring for their entire family, working. There's just so many challenges. And so while people want to do it, it's just not always feasible. And this person would have said that hands down before the caregiver retreat. Like, I don't have time, I can't, like this. But all of a sudden, when they felt seen, when they felt held, when they felt that they could get the support that they needed, that they didn't even know that they needed, and get a recharge, this new energy came forward and they said, these are my limitations based on my time commitments and my availability, and I want to be on the board. And so they got their wellness, they got a place for their child, and we got another foot soldier on our team who's incredible and is showing a whole other aspect of visibility and identity for other families to connect with. And I would say, like, that just blew me right over. I went to tears. I came to tears on that weekend. Many of us did, actually, as we shared our own personal stories and our development, and even just learned new things about ourselves that we didn't know were right there.
I love these stories, Michelle, the ones where an individual suddenly assumes their own identity.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I'm supposed to be. This is who I am. And it's awesome watching that growth. Someone suddenly comes out of their shell. I love that. I love it. What is the one thing that you see happening over and over again to individuals with disabilities that shouldn't be? How do we stop it?
Oh, man. The one thing that I see that happens over and over to people with disabilities that shouldn't happen. I think the one thing is limiting possibilities being placed upon them by others. So, not seeing the ability in disability.
So people coming in and saying, you can't do that.
That's right. You can't do that. Or maybe even, for example, it can happen within our own community, right? You're used to the person that you live with who has Down syndrome, for example. They might have speech at a certain level, they might do mathematics at a certain level, they might have social skills in a certain way. And it's very easy to take that framework and then look in the world of Down syndrome and even assume that other people would be the same. But you will see people who are similar, very different in all different directions. And so, if that can happen even within your community, it can definitely happen outside of the community where there's maybe lack of understanding. People hear the term Down syndrome, but they don't actually know what it medically means, and that even tripling of the 21st chromosome defines nothing. It doesn't tell you exactly what might be there from a health perspective. It doesn't tell you exactly how much that person will be able to do whatever they'll be able to do, whatever they'll choose to do. So I would say it's that limiting the possibilities in the face of Down syndrome that others can place.
I like it. Yeah, you and I think a lot on the same path here, Michelle. It's when, let's see what they can do. That's my preference, but
Let's see what they can do, and let's see what they choose to do, want to do.
Exactly. There's a huge difference there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've gone through a lot of different things for DDSA today.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted everyone listening to walk away with one thing, what's the one thing that everyone needs to know about Durham Down Syndrome Association?
You are welcome. You are welcome to be here. You are welcome to be seen here. You're welcome to be heard here. We really want to actively, consciously, and intentionally create spaces of inclusivity across Durham region and internationally. Let's not limit it there. So all your ideas, questions, feedback, you can contact us even if what you're doing is looking to support someone else. But all are welcome.
All are welcome. I love it. And did you get my questions beforehand, Michelle? Because you're walking right into them for me. This is awesome.
I was going to say, I don't know. And every time I kind of hold my breath thinking, I wonder if there's going to be a question like I'm going to be sitting here pulling my hair out. I think we're just flowing.
We are indeed just flowing, because my next question is about if people want to become a community member
Mm-hmm.
or just volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
How can they get a hold of Durham Down Syndrome Association? What's the process for joining, both as a community member and as a volunteer?
Amazing. So on our website, www.ddsa.ca, you will see some different tabs there. You can go to membership, and that will direct you to become a community member. And to become a community member, the cost is $25 for the year, and it covers the entire family. So the individual with Down syndrome, as well as their household, their family members in their household. And that's for the year. And that gives you access to many free events, also some events that are just at a reduced cost because you're a member. And then if you would like to be a volunteer for us, you will go to the website. So again, this is me trying to know what this new website exactly looks like, but you'll go into the website, and where it is saying contact us, you can contact us, and I will receive an email, the team will receive an email, and you will be contacted by our volunteer coordinator, and they will go through a few questions, try to get a sense of where you'd like to contribute. And it's as simple as expressing the interest, the area of interest, and literally signing up with us. There's no cost for volunteers to join, and there's many different ways in which you can serve our community, even down to volunteering with Pickering Bingo, who I have to shout them out. We are one of the charities that they support. We provide volunteers once a month, and for 2 hours once a month. And in doing so, we receive funding to run our programs. So sometimes we just need volunteers who will be willing to give up 2 hours once a month to greet people, say hello, pick up little pieces of bingo garbage, put it in the trash, hold a door for a person, and wear our team shirt so that they would know they're representing the Durham Down Syndrome Association. So there's lots of opportunity to be of support.
There sounds like there's lots of opportunities there. And just to make sure everyone can reach out for those opportunities, I want to make sure we've got all the contact information. So how can people reach out to you? Are we talking 1-800 number, website, email, message in a bottle, carrier pigeon? How do they do it?
So our website there, www.ddsa.ca, you can reach us through the contact us there. We don't actually have a phone number.
Okay, so that's the best way, is going online. Reach out through the website and email. Excellent. Michelle, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Would you like to say goodbye to the folks at home?
Well, take good care, and thanks everyone for listening. And thank you to you, Voices for Ability, for taking this time and being interested in the DDSA and for wanting to spread our message and our community.
Thank you, Michelle. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Michelle Francis Smith, the president of the Durham Down Syndrome Association. That's all the time we have for today, folks. I'm your host, Sean Pickard. Until next time, bye for now.